right, I forgot. Internet. I always forget to plug in the internet. Okay, we'll do some sharing real quick. Okay, it has been shared. What's going on? Oh, same thing as last time. I can't fix that widget. Well, I got Firefox running, so we shouldn't have any ad problems on the music this time. Still got another 6 minutes before we'll really get started. Now, I may have to step out for a minute to go pay the handyman who's here and finishing up things. But, you know, that should only take a couple minutes to handle. I hope folks have been coming out to see the gaming streams. I know we had a couple people show up for Okami Sunday. Yesterday. God, it already feels like forever ago somehow. Whew. Well, sad news is I don't know how much longer we can keep all the live streaming up. I've almost hit the end of my 6-month taking time off work to do the comic full-time experiment, and, well, you know, not at the stage yet where I can use this as a replacement income. So, probably have to go out and get another job soon at some point. which means I'll have less time for stuff like this. We're starting to get back into that warmer LA weather. I'll go through periods where I'm wearing the sweatshirt for like the first couple of hours through the middle of the day, and then by like 1 o'clock it's like, yeah, I can't wear this anymore. I can go ahead and get started early. Might as well. We've got some more background intensive shots today, so I'll probably need the extra time. We're gonna get everything done in 2 hours. Alright. Let's begin. We're almost back into the action proper. Doing some construction here with the walls. I'll always appreciate the day one of my art teachers told me why my walls look so weird, and it's because I wasn't giving them any depth. Like where a doorway would start, it would just be like a flat end, you know, but walls, they have a thickness to them. It's not just a single sheet of like half an inch thick plywood. All right. Oh, I didn't do that side. Hang on. There. take off the round corners here. That'll probably help. I like the rain sounds on this one. It's nice. Gonna angle the tops a little bit. There. Okay. Boop. Right, the ceiling things. For stuff like this, the line tool is very helpful. Gets them nice and even. kind of a funny thought. I remember surprisingly vividly staring up at the fluorescent lights in my elementary school, because I had never seen that kind of a light before. But I remember just thinking they were so odd with how, like, they were long and stuck into the ceiling, and the fact that they buzzed all the time. Kind of unsettling, to be honest. I remember seeing, like, conspiracy theories about how the government uses them to look inside our brains or some shit. Watched a little bit more of the X-Files the other day. Shocked to find that they had, like, an episode that was really just a ripoff of The Thing. I say ripoff, but it was a pretty decent episode. Sort of takes that same concept and plays on the, you know, the natural lack of trust that it breeds in a situation, and how not being able to trust the people that you're with in a moment like that can have very serious consequences on the situation's outcome. Like, so much would have been able to go so differently if they'd been able to trust one another. So, like, Mulder and Scully, they get brought on to a research trip out to the Arctic because a bunch of researchers out there showed up dead. So, you know, they send the two FBI agents they have who are, like, specializing in weird-ass shit to go check out the weird-ass shit that's happening. And, you know, they find out that there's a parasite that gets into people's brains and makes them hyper-aggressive. Kind of like rabies. And what it does is that, you know, it'll influence. It's not like direct mind control, it just cranks up your aggroness to 100. And it encourages you to try to hurt other people. So it sort of turns you into a murderous psychopath who's just lying in wait for the chance to do some damage to other people. So they're sort of stuck in a situation where it's like, well, we can't really trust anything that any of us have to say because, well, what if we're being influenced by the worm to try to get somebody in the group alone and vulnerable so that they can be attacked? And, you know, a lot of stuff happens that, like, ends up pointing the finger in everyone else's directions, and, like, even the audience is left in the dark as to whether or not the people being accused really are infected or not. We're not even given the clues. And, you know, the episode even gets Mulder and Scully pointing their own guns at each other, which just feels wrong. You know, like, in an innate way, that's just wrong. For them to be skeptical of each other like that. Which I guess just means, you know, the episode did its job. Really. That doesn't look great. So we got wires connecting from there and there. So then it should be like here to here-ish. Yeah, that looks better. Yeah, that makes sense. My friends and I finished up our last playthroughs of the beta this weekend, which I did with my good friend Little Green Fox over on Twitch. Good times. I'm excited for the game now, like... Man, so excited. I've got the Monster Hunter itch. I'm watching YouTube videos about it again. I'm trying to resist the urge to buy World on PC, because I'm literally about to get fucking Wilds in a hot minute. Okay. So we've got the background created. Now I can start on the details. Details. So yeah, Wilds looks like it's gonna be a hell of a good time. I am so excited. Next week cannot come soon enough, but also it can, because, you know, then I'm gonna have to figure out what the hell I'm doing with myself. Which, it's not even that, you know, like, gonna complain here for a minute. I know what I want to do, right? I've known what I wanted to do since high school. I want to be an animator, I want to animate, I want to make movies, I want to tell stories. That's what I want to do. But for some reason, I just can't. Like, I had no illusions that it was going to be easy, you know? I'd been given the talk by literally everyone who's ever taught me anything about this field, you know? That it's hard, it's an in-club, it's, you know... It's a difficult place to get your foot in the door. But I just, man... I thought I at least had made progress somewhere, but I haven't gotten to do anything in this field. Like, I can't even get fucking freelance positions anywhere. And I went to, like, a really prestigious arts college. I feel like I've done everything that they recommend that you do, and it just still hasn't done anything. I don't know, it sucks to feel like the world is keeping you from really doing what you want to do. I don't know, it's just hard, because, like, I know I have the skill level. It's just especially hard right now. The industry's going through such a huge crunch. Because things aren't making money like they used to. Not like they used to. It sucks. I don't know, I still try to keep my hopes up. Why does it keep skipping around? Why is it stuck? Hang on, music is being weird. Naming layers is weirdly difficult. Honestly, it's why I don't do it most of the time. Which I am aware is kind of a bad habit, you know, you're supposed to name your layers so you don't get anything confused and erase something by accident. But I don't know, after you build up like 100 layers, it's so friggin' hard to keep track, or to figure out new names for them. I just started to get so specific. It just kind of feels weird. Some other exciting news, we've got a new Digimon game coming out. This year, actually. I was surprised that it said 2025. Because I'd heard nothing about a new Digimon game before now, but then again, it's not like I have my ear to the ground on this stuff anyway. Ugh. These headphones make my hair itchy. Headphones and I don't always get along very well. I've got chronic migraines, so that makes having anything that presses down on my head kind of difficult to bear with. My head is very sensitive after years of migraine attacks. I can't even do any head banging. It hurts so much. So, you know, don't expect me to go buck wild at a concert. I don't like this one. It keeps having weird cutoff points. What about this one? Yeah, this one sounds good. Just anything soothing in general. Really just need some background noise within all the dead air. No, we want normal. No, we're just toning. We're not full on shading yet. had to make an edit to the webcomic this morning because a commenter pointed out that I had gotten the next release date wrong. Because it's a leap year. So there's no... Oh, no, wait, it's not a leap year. There's only 28 days in February. That's how it works, right? Anyways, I put down 28 as the next update on Patreon, because that's when the early access goes live. And then when I went over to post on Webtoon, I just copied and pasted the same description and just bumped up the day by 1. Just completely neglecting to register the fact that there's only 28 days in February this year. So, whoops. February's such an awkward month, huh? The amount of days it has are always in flux. Everybody else gets their standard amount each year. Not February. Poor February's gotta struggle with change. I found I do like painting on the wall stains. That part's fun. There's also apparently an earthquake at some point a couple days ago that I just completely slept through. A friend of mine who lives all the way in the heart of the city felt it. And I just woke up and I was like, what earthquake? It had to have happened at like 3 a.m. or some shit. It's a high school divider. Taking a sip. Okay, now we get to paint on some moss. That's a little more fun. Oh no, that one's the color changer. Hang on. There we go. Bad color on that one. Hang on. That's a little better. Not a lot for me to talk about this episode, unfortunately. I mean, in spite of the job problems, life's been good. Didn't start off the year super well, got sick with COVID. But that resolved itself pretty easily. I've avoided being threatened by the wildfires out here. The fact that I have a home at all is kind of amazing. I've gotten to go do some fun things with my friends. I've got my new PC together, so the video game hobby stuff has been fun to dip into for serious this time. Opened a window by accident. I try to focus on being grateful for what I do have instead of constantly upset about the things I don't, Even though feeling stonewalled in my career feels pretty bad. It could be a lot worse. I could be struggling a lot more, The fact that I'm able to come out here and follow this dream at all is really something. I just, I'm almost 28. I'd like to feel like I'm progressing in what I want to do with my life, at least a little bit. I I guess I can't help but feel stuck in some kind of Arrested Development. Well, I'm not the only one. I don't know, this kind of seems to be the sensation a lot of people in my generation are feeling. Just the sense of like the era of the self-made man is over. Which I don't think is true. I do think, however, that, well, it's just harder to be self-made and be an artist. The sad truth is, our skill set is a luxury. Most people aren't going to want to pay for it. So there's not a lot of money in that. Unfortunately. It's the lucky few who make a living off their stuff. Well, that's just how it goes, I guess. Of course, I'm still not sure what I'm gonna do next. I know I don't want to go back to retail, but... well, unfortunately, my degree is only good for animation, so if they won't let me animate... I don't exactly have a bunch of pliable skill sets. Tragically. I don't know, I don't regret my decisions. I don't have it in me to. I love this too much. To say that I regret going to an art college and trying to put my whole weight behind this. You know, it's what everybody dreams of doing, right? Following their dreams and all that. Not everybody gets the chance. The fact that I had the chance at all is extraordinary. It's just a little sad that, you know, it can't be everyone's career. I don't want to completely shit on the idea that, you know, all you gotta do is work hard and one day you'll get there. Because the truth is, everybody who does get there did work hard. It's just that not everyone who works hard will get there. And that's not to say my career is, like, over. It's just my time that I had to not be working a job I wasn't interested in is over. Sometimes you just have to go back. Though I'd certainly like to have gotten somewhere before my 30s. Wrong brush. I was like, why isn't the color showing up? I'm still on the blending tool. Just gonna do a little quick toning of everything. Why'd the music stop? Where'd the music go? Okay, there we go. Nice of them to just have 20 seconds of dead air in the middle of this playlist. Okay, background done, finally. Now I can actually put the character in it. Big wide establishing shots are so great in concept, and then you actually have to make them, and it's like, Let me check my phone here for a second. The fucking fingerprint sensor on my phone is garbage. Okay, no messages from the handyman yet. He's probably gonna be at it for another hour or two. Make it a little bit bigger in frame here. No, that's too big. Cat should not be that big in this frame. There we go. Pull up Stone's character sheet. You know, it has got me thinking though. I've been reading this manga series called Akane Banashi, which is about this girl who really wants to become a rakugo performer in Japan, which is kind of like a very specific kind of one-man performance art that's unique to Japan's culture, where one person sits on a cushion in front of a stage and they tell you a story, and they act out all the characters in the story. And they don't move around on the stage, and they don't wear costumes. It's more like when a parent tells their kid a bedtime story, and they act out all the goofy voices for all the characters. It's that kind of a thing. And it's kind of another of those similar, inspirational stories about being an artist, following an art form, the struggles of trying to become a professional in that art form. Although, I don't know if it's just the mangaka's way of, displaying that concept, but it seems like the path to becoming a rakugo is a lot more straightforward than the path to becoming an animator. Like, There's specific people you gotta meet, specific events you gotta go to, a specific order you do things in. You know, and not true for what I do. But, you know, I've been enjoying reading it because it's just, you know, it's an inspirational story that sort of hits a place where I'm at as well. It's simultaneously uplifting and frustrating because it's like, oh my god, that's just like me, but also that's not like me because she's going places and I'm not. Yeah, I don't know, it's just that eternal question of at what point, you know, how long do you keep trugging along, keep being patient, keep applying, keep going to events, keep trying to meet people? How long do you do that for until you just say, I've gotta move on and do something else? But I don't even know what else I do at this point. I mean, this is me. Making art, telling stories, this is me. This is what I want to do. I can't imagine doing anything else. And then what? I'd have to go back to school? I'd have to ask my parents to spend more money on me? I don't want to do that. They did so much to put me through art school. I guess it'd also be easier if it didn't feel like the only entry-level positions that existed were part-time minimum wage that doesn't have benefits, barely pays enough to pay the bills. And I think that's only because I lived in California. You know, I had a retail job back when I first left college and moved back home and was living with my family again. And, you know, I crunched the numbers while I was working at that job, and I would not have been able to afford my own place. It's part of the decision why I made the jump to come out here anyway. Was because it was like, well, I'm not getting any further sitting here in North Carolina. So I moved and I sat around in LA for 3 years. I don't know, I'm glad I came, but I'm also frustrated that it didn't really do what I hoped it was going to do, which was jumpstart something in my life. This is starting to feel more like a video diary than a live stream. I guess that's what happens when, it's just me in here. I hope somebody watches these eventually. Maybe I'll make these public someday. Especially since it seems like this whole thing isn't gonna work out anyway. I mean, I'll probably keep making content on the Patreon. Because, you know, I'm not giving up on this comic. I just won't have the same time for it that I have had for the past 6 months. I liked making it my focus. I enjoyed the work schedule. I enjoyed getting to do more community-related stuff for it. Unfortunately, I do still need money. That's just the sad life fact none of us will ever escape. We all need the money. Oh well. crying only makes it feel worse. Well, no, crying feels good sometimes, but... You know, at some point you do gotta come to terms with the things you can't change. Stone's struggling with that himself right now. Because if there's one thing you definitely can't change, it's other people's minds. Oh. Unless they want to change, of course. I got this weird pain in my ear. I think if it's still around tomorrow, I'm gonna have to go to the urgent care and get it checked out. I'm worried it might be an infection or something. It really hurts whenever I yawn. I'm just gonna try to take it easy after I get off today. I'm gonna cook dinner. I'm gonna play some video games. I'm gonna relax, you know. I'm gonna try to go low stress mode, you know. Tomorrow's not here yet, and there's nothing I can do about it today, so. Alright, the perspective on this is gonna be a little weird. It's gonna make the silhouette of this wall here a little more interesting. hope I haven't been too much of a downer this stream. I've always wanted to be kind of real in a stream like this, I suppose. The entire point of starting these is that I wanted to share, you know, my art process, but not just like the physical process of everybody watching me draw. And the truth is, this shit's hard, being a professional artist, you know? Not hard in the same way most jobs are hard. Although, with how bad the average artist's posture is, I don't know, maybe it is. But, you know, I think it's hard in that spiritually taxing way. You pour your soul into something and sometimes people just don't care. And then you want to get paid for your work and they don't want to do it because it's just art. You know, it doesn't always hold as much value to other people as it does to the person who makes it. And in a day and age where there's so much art easily accessible, just adds an extra layer onto things. No, I don't wanna lie about, you know, the way things are going for me. I don't want to act like Where the Strays Roam has been some grandiose success for me. I think it's definitely successful in terms of the quality of the story I'm telling. I mean, I regularly get comments from people saying that this is the best thing they've seen on the webtoon platform in a while. It's just not very monetarily successful right now. It'd be nice if that could change. Going into business for myself, where it's just me making art directly for the people who want it. But, you know, that's a lot to ask for. There's a lot of people just like me trying to do the exact same thing. I wish I could believe in destiny as easily as other people. But I don't know, it's just hard. I guess it's also just because I've never been a particularly lucky person. I live in kind of a null luck kind of zone, you know? Like, nothing spectacularly wonderful ever happens to me, but nothing seriously bad does either. Like, I was born into a good, stable family with enough of an income for us to be comfortable and to be able to do fun things. But also not like mega famous or super rich or anything either. I went to a good school, got good grades, made good friends, didn't get bullied. Never really did anything recognizable or outstanding in my school years either, though. I entered a few contests, you know, did a few art shows. Never won anything for those, though. I was always pretty far down the middle of the pack. I guess when you live a life like that, it's hard to have high expectations for lofty dreams and goals, because that's just not something that happens. And I think even with that, I'm, pretty damn lucky, because, hey, some people get the worst luck imaginable. Interesting lives, but at what cost? My life's been perhaps mediocre, but it's been safe. It's avoided a lot of the standard hardships that other people have to go through. Oof. Okay, it's 4 o'clock. Time for me to take my 5-minute break. I will see you all back in a couple of minutes. Alright, we're back. Whew. Oh man, I can't believe that one frame took almost an hour. Well, let me take a look at the other panels we've got. Okay, the other backgrounds aren't super detailed. Maybe we can still get all these done. We'll have to see. Probably doesn't also help my mood that I have to draw Stone in a sad state. Sometimes the moods my characters are drawn in can end up affecting me too. You know, I find myself doing this thing sometimes where I'll be acting out a character's facial expression while I'm drawing them. As though by, like, you know, feeling the crease in my own eyebrows, I'll be able to draw their eyebrows a little better. Kind of makes me glad to not have a face cam on, because that probably looks very strange. Although I've heard testimony from other artists that they do the same thing. That paw is too small. There, that's better. Sometimes I wish I'd been born in the Disney glory days, the 80s and the 90s. Well, not born then, I would have had been born a couple years earlier. Early enough that I would have had a shot of getting in there. The space is just so different from what I had always imagined it would be like. Just feels less like a bunch of people gathered together for the love of a single art form. It also sometimes makes me wish I'd been born in Japan. Sure, it's definitely got its own problems, especially in regards to workers, but I don't know, for some reason the art of animation itself, it just seems so much livelier and healthy over there, you know? I feel like they're less constrained than we are here in the States. Everyone's just so tied down with recreating the last thing that made money. That sometimes I wonder if they even understand that, like, it's not the material product that brought people into it. It's the intangible things about the work. It's the emotion that it made people feel. That's what drew them into it. That's what made it so impactful that they wanted to go out and buy DVDs and merch and tune in every week and give their viewership to the series. You know, it was all that other stuff. I don't know, that's not to say that, you know, Japan doesn't do that. They can definitely get in their own phases of trying to recreate the last thing that made a ton of money. But it also just seems like there's a lot more space for experimentation and trying new things over there, you know? I suppose I could still have rose-tinted glasses about it, you know? And like I said, they have a problem over there, especially with overworking. Like, I've seen a lot of videos online where Europeans talk about how hard you have to work living in America, but like, man, compared to the Asian countries, oh shit, we look like we're on vacation every single day. It's not just Japan, too. It definitely seems to be kind of like an Asian country's cultural thing. Sort of a general sense they all share. Not to say that it's the same in every country, but, you know, people talk about overworking problems in Japan, and then I also hear about overworking problems in Korea and China. It's just, you know, different flavors of the same issue. It's just such a hard thing to figure out working for a living. I mean, I even remember when I was little, the idea just... I don't know, it just didn't seem to fit with me. At all. Even back then, when people would be like, well, what job do you want to do when you grow up? I'd be like, I don't really want to do anything. I don't know, and then I found out and I found art and I was like, oh, this is something that I really enjoy doing. I could absolutely do this for a living, and then you find out, well, you can't. That's a skill set that, takes a lot to make a profitable lifestyle from. And it's like, well, shit, that's the thing, though, you know? People are always like, you gotta find a thing you want to do, a skill set you want to learn for your future. I mean, I think a part of it is also just that when you're that young, you don't really get it. Like, you don't understand the importance of working. Especially if you've been lucky enough to be raised in a family where money, you know, where you're financially secure. Not even omega rich, just financially secure. You know, it doesn't really sort of hit you that, like, hey, there's a place that all this stuff you have comes from, and it's your parents' paycheck. And their paycheck comes from their jobs. So if you want to sustain a life like that for yourself, you gotta pick something to do. You gotta do something that's gonna make you that money. But, you know, I guess I just hoped that, like, if I did the right things, if I got the good, you know, what everyone's saying, if I got the degree, you know, the degree that's staring at me from my wall every single day, that, you know, you'd be set. The jobs would come to you, but that ended up not being true. Of course, the truth is, for art skills, it's a little more complex than that. You know? It's not even an issue of skill, it's an issue of, do they know you? And if they don't know you, does your resume impress them enough to get to know you? And the answer for both of those questions most of the time is no. And then it's like, how can I start building a resume if nobody will hire me when I'm a newbie? Oy, it's a lot. And then, you know, even trying to make it all work for yourself is even harder. Well, one thing I know I can take comfort in is that my family's not gonna leave me out in the lurch, you know? I really am super lucky to have them. I could not have done any of this if I didn't have a supportive family. You know, that's the thing that I'm really proud of in my life, is having those people at my back. I think we should do half closed eyes. Yeah. That looks like shit. Ugh. Seems like all their songs have this awkward pause of silence in between them. This one's just a portrait shot, so that's pretty easy. Sorry, I was looking at something further down the line. I should focus on doing this one first before we mess with that one. Alright. Keep trucking forward. Gotta put on his face paint. Bro ain't doing too hot. He looks so sad. Put the pretty lighting on it. And there. Alright. Okay. See, this... I've been struggling a little bit with this one, just because, you know, a general rule of thumb is that if you want characters to be the right size as each other, they should intersect on the horizon line at the same point. But that's not happening here. I mean, I think it looks fine like this, but also my brain keeps telling me, you gotta... It's not right. I don't know, I really want Fern to be in full body, but I also want Stone's head to be in view. I mean, you guys won't tell anyone if I finish it this way, will you? I certainly hope not. I thought we were friends, guys. Well, we're gonna do it the wrong way for this one. Yay! Turn these off. Turn that off now. Alright. We're gonna not worry too much about being detailed with this one. Fade this into blackness, so we don't have to care about what's in the background there. Oh, half an hour. Well, I can be satisfied with just 4 if we only get 4 done today. I can pick up the other one tomorrow. Ah, his ear is really bothering me. It'll be surprising if it turns out to be an ear infection. Because I remember I used to get those quite a bit when I was younger, which is apparently kind of common for kids. Sometimes they'll just go through a period where they're getting earaches all the time. But I haven't had one in, like, probably since my childhood. So if that comes to pass, that'll kind of be a lot. Wee. It's odd, I'm simultaneously excited for and dreading the end of February. Because on the one hand, possibly having to start the fucking job hunt again. On the other hand, Don comes back, and Monster Hunter comes out. Two awesome pieces of escapism. Can't wait to drown my sorrows. If only life could be easier, I'm sure we'd all be happy with that. We could just get the things we want. I was watching this one live action show recently. And, the main character in it, you know, he's had a couple of relationships over the 3 seasons I've watched so far. And, you know, the most recent girl they paired him with, you know, I liked her. She's cool. I feel like they're a good fit for each other. But the episode I was just watching today, they're having this whole baby drama thing, and, you know, she wants one and he realized he doesn't, and it's just kind of a... I feel like they're on the verge of a breakup, and I'm like, God, again? You're gonna do this shit again? Can't you just, like, make him a love interest and stick with it? Why we gotta do this 100 times? I swear, it's like every time something new comes up, it's like, oh, I can't be with you, our life goals are simply incompatible, and it's like, oh my god. How many times are they gonna be incompatible, huh? I get that's probably true to real life, but... I don't know, man, I'm just tired of it being the same fucking shit. Should shade the moss too. It's kind of standing out a little too much. My ground plane. There's Fern. Alright, let's get in there. Stone's having a bad time, but Fern's happy to see him. If it's any consolation. I saw a video that was like, do you know why anime girl faces are so cute? It's because they're modeled after cat faces. And I'm like, what? No, they look nothing like cats. And then the video had like a draw over diagram or something on it, and I looked at it and I was like, I mean, okay, I guess, but, you know, it was some pretty stylized cat proportions. I mean, I guess I can see how they definitely used, like, qualities of cat features in some elements of the face to make them cuter. But, like, it's not one-to-one. And I mean, if that's true for the girls, it's true for the guys as well. Because they use a lot of the same face shape principles. One of the things I like a lot about the way Dawn to Dawn is drawn, looking back at the manga, is that, like, the characters actually have, like, really good, full, dynamic face shapes, you know? It's not that same canned anime style that some other series have. Like, the characters oftentimes have visible noses in shots, like, especially if they're turned to the side, the creator actually draws the nose ridge, which is so fucking rare. So many times they just put that little shading triangle. And, like, it doesn't usually bother me, you know, it's a stylistic thing, but I didn't realize, like, how good and dynamic your pages can look, or your characters can look, with just, like, choosing to make the slightest changes to the standardized style of the medium that you're working in, you know? You just go off the beaten path a little bit, and it looks so different. I think it's also one of those things that really demonstrates that, like, you know, sometimes to find the good stuff, you're the one who has to go off the beaten path, you know? You gotta go look for the weird shit. You know, because I've seen some people in the English scene who've been choosing to step away from anime, because it feels like all they're being bombarded with is more isekai light novels. Which I think is totally fair. Because there is a lot of that, and I don't like those ones either. I mean, God, you're making classic Dungeons & Dragons fantasy boring. And that's like my favorite genre. Do you know how hard you have to try to make generic fantasy boring for me? I think it's mostly just because the characters they choose to put into these settings aren't very interesting. So, like, the blandness of the world building just stands out even more, because it's like, well, yeah, not only, you know, like, I don't have anything interesting to focus on with the characters, but I also don't have anything interesting to focus on in the background, because it's just bland Tolkien ripoff 41, like... I don't know, I get the feeling maybe it feels more exotic for a Japanese audience, because it's like, you know, it's European styled history and culture as opposed to Japanese style history and culture, which I'm sure they get, you know, plenty of Edo period, samurai, you know, period play whatevers, much like how we're bombarded with British period dramas. So, you know, I'm sure they see the more European-tinged fantasy aesthetic, and it's very cool for them, because it's so different. You know, I'm sure they have their own Western weebs, whatever they'd want to call them. But man, somebody over there has got to be getting tired of this shtick, too. I guess that sort of thing caters to a very specific crowd. A crowd so specific they probably eat up, you know, everything that gets produced, and that's why they make so much of it. Because that's just what they do, you know? I guess it makes sense. It is kind of escapist fantasy, and well... you know, sometimes, people who are looking for an escape oftentimes aren't very picky about what that escape looks like. You know, I have my own escapism, but I don't know, it's probably just because I am so invested in the art of storytelling in and of itself that, It needs to have good writing and good characters for me to be able to get invested in escaping through it. I'm just listening to see if maybe the repair guy's done. Let me see here. Oh, I did get a text. Who's it from? Ah, he is finished. Okay, I'm gonna put this on pause again for just a minute and go meet him. I'll be right back, guys. Okay, life stuff taken care of. Finally got that shower repaired at least. It's been like that for months. I'll tell you, man. Construction people, they'll be so quick to come out there and start your job. But whether or not they'll finish it, that's up in the air. Luckily, we have a very good all-around handyman who's more than willing to come by and finish jobs for us. Very reliable. I quite enjoy having him on call for things like this. Yeah, we had a mold issue in one of my roommate's shower. She's been using mine in the meantime, but, had the whole friggin' cleaning crew come in. They tore the wall down, cleaned it out, but, actually getting a repair job done, I'm kind of glad we went with the other handyman then, because, I don't think they would have done a very good job repairing it, because when he came in and took a look, he said, oh yeah, whoever did this the first time, they did not seal this properly. And, I didn't have a ton of confidence that the other big company was gonna do a super good job sealing things either. So I am glad that he was able to take care of it. Oh, hey, we got through that whole playlist. All right, let's find something else. What about Coastal Vibes? How are we feeling about that? Yeah. I like the coast. The coast is nice. I think I talked about this before. We used to take beach vacations, my extended family. Somehow, I came out being the only one who enjoyed going to the beach. My parents, they moved up into the mountains. My sister, she wants to vacation in the mountains. She's told me before, I do not want to go to the beach ever again. I'm just like, damn, the beach is a good time. Everything feels so light and airy over there. Although it is funny, because I complain about the heat all the time. I don't know, I guess the heat's not so bad when there's a place close by you can go swimming. Video games are kind of a new hobby for me. I say new, but really it's within the past 5 or so years since I graduated from college. But, after I graduated and I was still kind of looking for jobs, doing my best to look for a job at least, and I didn't really have anything else on my plate, I kind of had like a second childhood, wake up early in the morning to play video games and play them late into the night kind of phase. Because I know that's the thing people who grew up with video games in their lives did a lot of the time, It was their Saturday morning cartoons. But I had that period too, and looking back on it, it's like, yeah, that was kind of like I don't know, kind of felt like childhood 2.0 for a little bit there. Of course, I'm sure my parents weren't always happy about that, but, I wasn't slacking on my step into adulthood. I was applying to jobs, I was working on my portfolio, I was trying. I just also had a lot of free time. And, they couldn't be mad at me for how I used my free time if I had all my other ducks in a row. Which I've always been good at keeping my ducks in a row. If life was just about keeping ducks in a row, I'd be great. I'd be off wonderfully. I don't know, I love being an artist. I love being good at, you know, drawing. I wouldn't trade this skill set I had for anything, but there are some times when I think about how much greener the grass is on that other side. The people who are like, I don't know, good at accounting, right? Accountants make a lot of money, right? Oh, I was like, why is this so bright? I don't have the toning layer underneath this, of course. Luckily, that's easily fixed. Whee! There we go. That's more like it. Just gotta take a deep breath. It'll work out one way or another. Alright. We're getting close to the end time, but I can at least get started on the next frame. Oh. Wrong blending mode. I gotta stop now because I'm starving. Alright. You know what, actually, I think I'm gonna call it there. I think I've hit my limit for the day. Alright, I hope you all enjoyed joining me for another wonderful live stream. Let's see. It's not an update week, although I will be posting something new to the Patreon this Wednesday. This Saturday, I'll be on YouTube with the Violet Howler doing our Kingdom Hearts stream, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Then we'll be back for another one of these next Monday. Alright, see you guys then. Bye-bye.